It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. Of course, there's no cunnilingus or fellatio or rear-end sex as far as in the rectum. Out of the question. Chains and bondage, all of that's out of the question. You're a psychiatrist. I don't want anything to do with that kind of sexuality. Now, I happen to prefer it refined, the missionary position. He has to understand my chemistry or want to. He has to know how to enter, and he has to want me. Because if he doesn't want me physically, I will not be able to function. He has to love and want me and respect my intellect. You see, there is no respect for my intellect due to an element. And that's major. That kind of sums this thing up. But the son has to be addressed pretty quickly, then the daughter, and then a gentleman that enters. We covered the need to, the love and the want to. I can't function. My body will not be able to function unless I know the male lusts me, meaning he wants to make love to me. And he also genuinely loves me. My body will not function. It will seize up, and it will not, in a form of, I think you'd know the term, a form of vaginismus, I've forgotten the term. I think it'll not be able to receive the male. At this point, I'm too finite on this, and I don't mean to brag. Now, the irony is, it is a double-edged sword, because I prefer not experienced, and I've listened to that, because the buttocks might be enticing to a male. But I have feared that before, because I believe he was going to try to enter me rectally. Now, if I fear something, there's going to be a problem. There should be no fear when this takes place. That's why I wanted it totally non-listened to, because the gentleman has to understand that I have not been screwing around miscellaneously, and I'm not, I've had sex, let's put it that way, but not a whole lot. And I preferred it that way because I know the difference between love. Oh, it's a hard subject. I feel it, and I know it, K-N-O-W. I am that old that I know what I can take, because I don't believe the body will even react to the male. He can't act it. So I got to know he wants me physically. He has desire for me, but he also has love for me. He is compassionate, but I can't run up the street, and he accepts that. Now, all of that is a necessity. In the meantime, I got to worry about that boy of mine. You have a good evening. I'm right here all night, finishing my breakfast that I have at night, and that's how I operate. Address your husband, yourself, your dinner, your private time. I'll wake up, and if I sound crazy or groggy, I'll call it. A little further on that, I get a little tired at night, so I may repeat. Fellatio is out of the question. Cunnilingus nauseates me that a male would even think that he had to do that. To me, it's denigrating to him. And so I am discussable with a male, and he must be able to want to say it tenderly, because it is an oxymoron concerning me, but it is more serious because I want the desire and I want the love, and they both have to be there. He can't find me repugnant and telling me to lose 10 pounds. That's going to cut me to a quick, and I won't function. Now, I am doing the best I can with what I'm doing. I do require food. Some may not, some may regurgitate it. I don't want to be in that condition. Now, he has to understand that I try to keep around this weight definitely because of the clothes I've bought. He has to be able to accept me on those terms and how I have to eat. I can cook him 3 meals a day delightfully and not have a problem at all. Now, I have to eat what I have to eat. And I don't know any other way of telling you. It has to be 6 meals type of thing because it cuts hypoglycemia also. Fruits, that is how I operate. But as far as the gentleman, I'm willing to cook him 3 meals a day, whatever he wants for that. I mean, we have to have a budget for that. But I don't have, for me personally, I have to do it my way. But that is the way it has to be. He has to accept me and not find me repugnant right off the bat. We cannot, at this point of a third marriage, have any mess up on this one. My kids would never talk to me again. That is how serious this is. Well, I think we've covered it. During menstruation, I would have not had sex if he could have stood it. We would have worked that according to what he required, but not fellatio, not that at all. I would have abstained from it for that male. I really would have. I don't feel it was a necessity on that. I've gone through that. I'm finished with. Personally, I think this weight at least is healthier. There's no fluids in the upper chest, and there shouldn't be. There is extra weight in the kneecaps that I never had. I had thin legs. But I don't feel I should be any heavier personally. Now, I feel that, and I'm eating good stuff. I think that that's at least doable. So I don't feel that I should be weighing more. I get on twice a week only, and when I go to a doctor's, if I do, I should say, I don't allow them to tell me the weight, so I won't abuse myself or have somebody telling me off on the subject when I've gone there. Now, the next part is, every couple, I feel, has subtle nuances that, I call it their own script that they write together. It's not acting. It's their own relationship. Subtle nuances concerning foreplay or how you get to that pitch of wanting to make love to one another. I prefer that. I am a romantic, so I would require some sort of romance of some sort. You have a good evening. I think that is a summarization. Now, what could have been done during my menstruation, I have no idea. But that's over with. But a conversation on the subject, due to what I've said, would be interesting. That's a summation, I think. That's all on that subject. You want to discuss it with me, please do. And no problem on that at all. But I think that is a summarization. If you know something anatomically that would be easier, I don't know. But anyway, that's it right now. Have a good evening, a good dinner. And I'm here all night, and I'll get back to you for sure by phone call. Take it easy wherever you're at, and same to your husband. Enjoy your dinner. I forgot pineapple, not forgot. It flailed off on the added remaining pineapple in that I had. Still trying to deal with the nutrition. Now I've got some natrium phosphoricum and natrium muriaticum, not as many. A little bit left of hawthorn. We will address, or should address, what you'd want done on that also. It has to be involved with Auburn Housing on that. They have to have a knowledge of that and I have to give them those records to have this apartment anyway. It is a medical expense, and there's wellness wallet, and I don't know how you're going to solve that on that subject. So that's important. Also, the son, my son is majorly important on this subject matter. I don't like the fact I haven't heard from him. Remember, there is a distrust on this due to what has taken place. On the subject of employment, etc. Very serious on this subject matter. My mate has to be here, resolved. I demand that wealth step in here, have dinner with me, and communicate. The sonar should be cut. This is, excuse me, I should be fed nothing in here. This is my domain. You can't control the world, but I've tried to. But in here, I want it controlled. I should not have anything fed to me in here. I have debriefed minds in my head in here. It's a military term for saying you gotta not practice right now because you aren't sounding real well. And that is how I view that. It is a military term. That has to cease. There have been fed to me harm to my son again. Harm that he's dead. All of this starts all over again. I was fed that continually morning, noon, mostly in the early morning, and at night. Not as bad right now. It's lowered slightly. That has to cease in here. Nobody has it in their apartments. They talk to individuals, literally. I'm the only one who's fed this. It is a form of get rid of also. So that is a summation about as good as I can get. It's not something I can put on paper to you. When I can, I will send you an email. I couldn't.